Welcome back, you lovely people. Hope everyone is doing well. Nice to see you all. Sorry, let me take a sip of water before I try and get going. So, look, hope everyone is doing amazing. This may be a shorter session. They generally are when there's not much going on with Bitcoin, but I think it's good that we stay connected, particularly with where we are in the cycle. I have thought about going every few weeks for now, but let's see how we get on. You know, as soon as I say that, then the market will start rocketing. So even if we do shorter sessions for a couple of weeks, I think that's a good thing. Yeah, ask me anything. So put them in the chat on Zoom or on Instagram, and I will get to them. I'll do a quick update. Will be quick. There's not a lot happening, you know, so from where we were last week, I think we're basically exactly the same place. $33,500 off 5% today, but we're up the last 3 days. So we are, I'd call it, searching for a bit of momentum, and we do keep threatening to find that momentum. For example, over the weekend, there was a bit of buying. I believe there was some whales buying by looking at the data. It was about somebody, it looks like somebody was coming in with a couple of billion. So there's definitely buying happening, as we know, as we've talked about. But the market is also weak. So we're just searching for that move, and you know, it would make everybody's lives a bit easier if that move is up, but we are also prepared for if we take one more leg down. I did a video about that last week. I mentioned $19,000 just so nobody is shocked if it happens. Definitely not expecting it, but you know, I think from seeing how, I think generally everyone's done a great job, but of course, when we have our sell-offs, then there is also some fear and panic going on. So I'm just pouring a tea if you can hear strange noise. So look, if we do sell off from here, we could go low. There could be mass panic. If that did happen, I would expect that to be our trigger for a huge bounce and then up to the cycle peak. Or we may, you know, find a bit of momentum here, have a nice breakout, be on our way. Both are on the table. I place more probability on the latter because I just feel that there are going to be buyers that would step in again at $30,000, $29,000. But I could definitely be wrong. We know how those capitulations can escalate. So it's on the table, just so nobody's surprised if it happens, but we're not expecting it. And nothing has changed with regards to our targets for the cycle peak. This still, if you zoom out, and a lot of people would struggle to zoom out, if you zoom out, this looks very, very similar to 2013 and 2017, which is the halving cycle. And sometimes we just need to be patient. And I do believe that we'll look back on this period of time in October, or when we've settled down in November or at Christmas, and be very proud of the work that we put in during this capitulation and consolidation, because it's, you know, nobody said this was going to be easy, and it's not supposed to be easy. You don't get great rewards without it being hard work. So well done to all those that are sticking with it and staying positive and continuing to believe. So quick word on altcoins, generally just going with Bitcoin. They have slightly outperformed Bitcoin over the past week, which is what I anticipated. We talked about that last week. You know, it's nothing major. Definitely doesn't signal some sort of alt season. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a couple of very strong alt days, but we're not having another 4 months like we had at the beginning of this year. This is a Bitcoin story, and I expect it to continue to be that way through to October, and then altcoins will have a final pump, and that will be very interesting, and we'll be following that closely because there might be some opportunities if you want to go to the casino, but we're not there yet. That is one for October, November time. So, going to come to the questions. As I thought, not a great deal of questions, so make sure you get them in before I end this live and you miss the opportunity. So, Emma, what are the main reasons for the slow momentum? It's a really good question. And I think it's a confluence of factors. We are in our mid-cycle shakeout. I called it a war of attrition about 6 months ago when I told everybody to prepare mentally for it. And it's interesting how I called it a war of attrition. I didn't expect it to be this long or this painful. So I obviously picked some good terminology because that's exactly what it is, and even more than I expected. So first and foremost, we expected a big sell-off exactly at this time. It happened in 2017. It happened in 2013. I've been talking about it all year, way before it happened. The bit I got wrong is that, I believed it would max out at 40% because that's what we've seen in the last cycle. And what the market has shown us is that it's been about 54%. So in 2013, it was 70. So it's an average of 2013 and 2017. In hindsight, it makes a lot of sense. We went up very quickly. We were significantly outperforming 2017. And there was a lot of speculation, a lot of leverage. And we have, it takes some time to shake all of that out. So get all of those leverage traders out of there, ruin the momentum, get all of the weak hands to sell their Bitcoin, and get them into the hands of the strong, the diamond hands. And that's what we have been seeing over the past couple of months. Just before that, we had a few months around the top. So we have been going sideways for a long time, but that's in hindsight very much to be expected given how quickly we went up, sort of the second half of last year into the beginning of this year. Do not forget that the halving took place at $8,000, and now you forget 65,000. We're at 34,000. So that is a 300% return in a year, which is absolutely ridiculous compared to any other asset. And of course, when we're at 65,000, then that was a crazy percentage increase. So we've put in a massive move, and now we're having a long drawn out consolidation that is testing everybody. And it's kind of the point, shake as many people out as possible. Those that stay strong and focused will be rewarded, as they have been with every single Bitcoin pullback in Bitcoin's history. So why are we not going up now? Well, there's been, as well as us, being due this correction, well, we have also had, as you've seen, a lot of FUD and misinformation in the market. You got Elon Musk, you got China, you got the regulators, And again, expected, because I've been talking about it for a year to expect all of this, but it is definitely been overwhelming for the market. And look at it the other way, the fact that we are above $30,000 after having dealt with everything that we've just dealt with over the past couple of months shows how strong the market is. You know, maybe we get a final sell-off, but if we don't, there's a floor around $30,000. That's what the market is showing us. And like I said before, we were at $8,000 a year ago. So it's an incredibly strong market if you zoom out. We just need to, finish the job of shaking everybody out and finding the momentum. And, when it comes, it will come quickly, slowly and then quickly, is kind of Bitcoin's motto. Again, I've said before that a lot of the bull market is going down or sideways. And then you get, if you stay stay in the game, hold on for dear life, and then you get to benefit from the massive pumps, because when you hit that momentum, then you fly. And I guess this is why we're doing these sessions as well, because what others will do, perhaps those that don't believe so much, is that when we find that momentum, they will be very cynical, and then when we keep going up, then they'll FOMO in, and they'll probably end up getting back into Bitcoin at $100,000, $150,000, and that will probably be right near the peak. And then maybe they won't be able to sell, and they'll hold through the 2-year bear market. That's how you make your mistakes. So there's no one reason. It's just that confluence. We're just finding the momentum. We obviously need to find the buyers. Price goes up when people start buying. Very encouraging to see some whales coming back into the market at the weekend. That can easily lead to another one and another one. And of course, it's not just the whales, it's retail as well. As soon as people find a bit more comfort, then the snowball starts rolling down the hill and collecting all of the snow and becomes massive. And that's exactly what I'm expecting, because that's what's happened during every other bull market, 2013, 2017, and this bull market so far looks like the previous two. So we have as many data points that are showing us that we are in the middle of the 2020-2021 bull market that should peak later this year. Dean, people have been getting texts from Barclays saying they've stopped payments to Binance to keep money safe. Is it linked to FCA statement? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, banks have generally been doing this on and off for the past year, so it may or may not be linked to the FCA statement. I'm not sure. Why do you think Barclays have just banned Binance and not any other exchange? I don't know. I don't know that they haven't banned any other exchange. If you're saying that that is Binance, then it may actually be the statement. Yeah, you may be right. I'd be interested to know if it's other. Yeah, well, I guess if you're saying it's just Binance, it's just Binance, because most of the other exchanges are on foreign soil as well. So must be due to the statement. Yes, the statement was due to regulated activities. I guess just don't expect your bank to act rationally and in your best interest, because they don't do that. They've never done that. And this time is no different. So if I was you, I'd be moving bank as soon as possible. because that one is not serving you. You know, Barclays shouldn't be able to tell you where you can and can't spend your money. Well, they should because they're a private company, but then you have the right to take your business elsewhere. So I would expect you to be doing that. I'd expect everybody who received that text message to be doing that, because it's a free market. So get out there and find the bank that wants to help you. Hitash, do you think we're still on track for 60K by August? Yes, I do. Looking at the all-time high around mid-August, that'll give us a couple of months for the blow off top. That's definitely ballpark my targets at the moment. Keeping it flexible though. But yeah, roughly that's what I'm looking at. Given we're not far from October, do you think we're looking at October top? Yeah, I think we're looking at October top. Nothing's changed there. We're 3.5 months out. And that very much aligns with 2013 and 2017. You just need to go back and look at the charts and the data from 2013 and 2017. A parabolic blow off top happens quickly, and is, you know, as people like to say, is will melt your face off, and that's exactly what we're expecting. There's nothing to suggest it's going to be anything other than that, and it's going to be, you know, just as we had a massive capitulation that escalated very quickly. I mean, I'm just looking at what happened in, you know, late March, early April. You know, once it starts falling, then it starts falling off a cliff. Well, once we hit the turbo blasters and start going to the moon, then we start going up in a straight line. And you know, I think lots of people are going to struggle with that as well. I know everybody prefers the price going up, obviously, me too. But those that have really struggled with the past couple of months are really going to struggle with that as well, because psychology is 80% of this game, if not more. Have a simple strategy and then it's all about mindset. And, you know, Bitcoin going from 60,000 to 300,000 in 6 weeks is also just as difficult to manage as the past 6 weeks has been. And that you may say, Chris, no, you're crazy, it's going to be awesome. Well, obviously it is going to be awesome, but don't forget, within that there's going to be huge down days as well. That's going to be peak volatility. So if you struggled with 54% over a couple of months, what are you going to do when we're in the blow off top and you wake up and we're down 40% in 4 hours? Because that will probably happen. Maybe exaggerating slightly, it may go down 25% in 1 4-hour candle, right? Something like that's going to happen. And take this opportunity to learn about the volatility, learn about patience, learn about having a clear strategy and then sticking to it, because you're going to need that more than ever during the parabolic blow off top. Jay, where is the selling coming from other than liquidation from China? Yeah, some of it's China. I'm not sure that was as big as they were making out. And certainly the miners didn't seem to sell too much. They had to sell some, because a lot of them are closing their businesses for a period of time. I'm not sure how much selling is coming from Chinese institutions and retail investors. Yeah, I'd be completely guessing on that. I haven't seen any data. I would guess that most of them have just installed VPNs and are finding their way around it. Generally, what happens. The main the sell off, because we had one major sell off, and since then we've been consolidating. The sell off was leverage traders, and that was billions and billions and billions of dollars were being wiped out. And then that was the initial capitulation, and everybody expected a V, and a lot of traders put their leverage positions back on, and then we've had probably two more capitulations. So it's really cleaning out all of that leverage. That's been the main reason, and having gone through that, the market is a bit traumatized, so that's why we're struggling to find momentum. But at the same time, we're holding $30,000. Why are we not at $20,000, $10,000? That seems like a really nice level. You got the likes of Michael Saylor, who's one of the biggest Bitcoin holders. His average price is $26,000, so it makes sense. You got a lot of support there. Doesn't mean we might have one day where we smash down and take out a bunch more traders. It might be what the market needs. If we go down to $19,000, then just sell your kidneys and your family and load up, because that bounce will be like something we've never seen before. Like I said, I'm not expecting it, but I mention it just in case. So it's just that we're just finding that momentum, and it will come. Bitcoin is cheap, and a lot of people know Bitcoin is cheap, but they're waiting. They're waiting for the move. How many people are going to jump in when we take out $40,000? You're going to see the buying. All of that money that went out of the market, there's nothing else to invest in, really. So it's waiting. Nothing else. The stock market is not interesting. So the bond market is definitely not interesting. So there's a hell of a lot of cash on the sidelines. And honestly, I expected it to be back in by now. So that's why it's the war of attrition, but it's still there. It's still there. And, capital always wants to find its best return. And if Bitcoin has an opportunity of, 5, 6, 7 Xing in 3 or 4 months, then there's a lot of people with their finger over the buy button, but they're just waiting for that confirmation, which is understandable. Just put yourself in, I know a lot of us are waiting for confirmation. I know a lot of us are fully invested as well, but if you had loads of money on the sidelines, you'd be perhaps waiting for that move over 40,000 or so, and then bang. Coley, with the threat of the United States, will El Salvador be able to get by with Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin is legal tender alongside the US dollar. So the residents have a choice. Well, they have to accept Bitcoin, but they can immediately convert it to dollars if they choose to. So El Salvador will be, of course, I think the main threats are coming from the IMF at the moment, and the IMF threatening to withdraw credit, which of course is disgusting, willing to put the El Salvadorians into poverty because they are choosing to use a different currency. But you've got Bitcoiners who are asking El Salvador, and I believe it's happening, to create bonds that Bitcoiners can buy, so Bitcoiners can fill the funding gap. So there's a lot of support. The rest of South America look like they're being very supportive, and listening to the president of El Salvador, he doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to change his mind. He's very, very confident and seems like a very, very progressive, innovative guy. he absolutely loves Bitcoin. So I wouldn't expect them to change course and get a year down the line and look at the GDP of El Salvador exploding, all the entrepreneurs and Bitcoiners moving there. Well, it's going, that's when the free market is going to show the world the benefits of adopting Bitcoin, and there's going to be a rush into it from firstly South America and then other countries, because whoever doesn't is going to get left behind. Of course, that's the longer term view, but no, I don't think it's not seeing anything that suggests to me that they feel threatened. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, of course. Hitesh, I recall you had a video on the 5-phase model. Do you have any thoughts on what happened after we get to 60? Yeah, I am. I will do an updated video on that. The what I did has been invalidated. That was based on the recovery from 2017. And as you know, we're following a different path. We're consolidating for longer. We're all very aware of that. But we have some key levels that we're looking at. We have the most important trend line in crypto, which is going to end up coming in about $40,000. It seems to me that $40,000 level is key. So we've tried to take it out at least once, 1.5 times. So we'll get over that at some point, and that will trigger for me the beginning of the final phase of the bull market. I expect we'll head up to 60 quite quickly. We'll probably have, at that point it becomes very volatile. So I expect around that level, when everybody thinks that we're going straight to 100,000, we'll probably have a quick sell-off. I'm being very broad brush here, but you'll probably get some sort of sell-off from 65 or 60 back down to 45. And then 45, we'll have our next wave up to something like 100. That's going to be a big psychological level. Imagine that all over the media. And, we'll probably hit some resistance around there, have another quick sell-off, 100 down to 70. And then from 70, that really is then the blow off top, 70 to 300 in 3 weeks, something like that. And that will melt everybody's faces off. And then you'll see how quickly sentiment changes. Everybody feeling frustrated and bearish now, go 2 months out and it's going to be absolute euphoria across the market. And at that point, just like in April, March, nobody will think that Bitcoin can ever go down again. And, that will be roughly around when we have our top and correction and begin the 2-year bear market. So that's the sort of roadmap I'm looking at broadly in my mind. But, if the market's shown us anything over the past couple of months, it is that we need to stay extremely open-minded and let it show us. Emma, what's your thoughts on taking out loans against your crypto? Be very, very careful, as you've said, very careful. It's a good strategy if you know what you're doing. So if you have experience with leverage, because that is leverage, then of course, think about it. If you have no experience taking leverage, I'd be very, very cautious. And if you're going to do it very, very small, understand loan to values, understand how that can change when Bitcoin is going up or down 50% in weeks. That can really change your loan to value amounts, your liquidation levels. Think about how it changes during the bull market and the bear market, because the value of your Bitcoin is going to be significantly different. The one major benefit, it can increase your returns. if you invest the loan back into Bitcoin, that is a benefit. I think the biggest benefit is you could use it to avoid paying tax in a legal way. If you don't sell your Bitcoin, take out loans and use those loans for whatever you need to do, then you never have to sell your Bitcoin. So there's no taxable event there. So that's one of the major benefits, but you need to be very, very sure that you know what you're doing. And if you're not, then I would advise against it because leverage is dangerous. Just looking through Instagram. Georgie. I use Luno to hold my Bitcoin. I haven't heard of many that use it. I've never heard of it, I'm afraid, Georgie. So I don't know if I can, well, I can't help on that. I have no idea what Luno is. So just with any of these platforms that are, a bit left field, then just make sure you do your due diligence because there are some horror stories in the crypto world. So just do your due diligence. Jay, it's good to meet you too. A couple of weeks ago at the March. Do we have to worry about Binance and Barclays? Talked about it at the beginning. You should worry about it if you're with Barclays and you're trying to use Binance, apparently. So you might have to move banks. Do you know if I could pay out from Binance to Monzo? Yeah, I believe so. I saw that in the Telegram group that some people have done it that way. Kate, I want to go to a retreat in Mexico with limited internet access in mid-September. Would it be safe to do this now? Now the blow off top is maybe mid-October. I don't have a crystal ball, obviously. I can't say anything with 100% certainty, not even close to 100% certainty in the crypto world. So I don't know what to say. You could, mid-September, what might we be doing mid-September? We might be at, might be at $80,000 and, waiting for the blow off top, perhaps. So you could, I guess, put in sell orders at $200,000, but I don't know, it's difficult. So I don't know what to suggest because we don't know what the timing is going to look like, unfortunately. Our targets are just rough estimations to give us something to aim at. So it could happen much sooner, mid-September. It's looking less and less likely given how long our consolidation is taking place. And it could be November, in which case, you'll probably be absolutely fine. So, and it may be a good thing to just, for a lot of people, to get offline for a month or so and come back in mid-September or early October. Kiran, what exchange would you recommend? I recommend Binance. There's a link in my bio if you want my referral link. Jane, I think this is the last question for now, so make sure you get them in if you've got any burning questions. You've been unable to transfer money into Binance for a week now. Doesn't seem to be directly to my bank. Could be, yeah. There's been lots of chat on the Telegram group. If you're not in, then give me a shout. I can get you added because the community generally have better advice than me on this. For me, it's just you need to call your bank and give them hell, and then if they're not helping, then you need to move to a different bank. Yeah, if you're in the Telegram group and you struggle, then just ask again. If the error comes from Binance, I've not heard of that. I know faster payments was down for maintenance for a day, but I haven't heard of a continuous error. So, Jane, that's more of a Binance uh, customer service question, I'm afraid. So I'd definitely reach out to them and ask. I think that's it. I think that's it. Bit of a shorter one. That's good. That's very good questions though. Well done, everybody, staying patient, and we will have a session like this over the next couple of weeks where we're breaking past 40,000, and it'll be really exciting, and everybody will forget about their frustrations. So just bear with me while I get the market moving up. I'll put in some buy orders. But thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. And I will talk to you in a week. Take care. See you later.